Okay, friends of the videos here with ILBA, International Log Home Builders Association. We have got a man who has got a lot of experience, and he is. It's pretty exciting to have him on here today. I've never met this man, but I just met him a few minutes ago, and I met his wife, and I've got to tell you, I think he probably works pretty hard to keep her around because she seems like a good one. Anyway, so Lloyd, if you would give us your name and where you're at, and we'll go from there.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Beckedorf, and the company I have is Moose Mountain Log Homes that Linda, my wife, and I run. And we're located in Alberta, just west of Calgary, and so in between Calgary and Banff. And I've been building here for 43 years. Started in 1977, first building log homes, and then started Moose Mountain Log Homes in 1978.
Wow. Wow. And now you build all handcrafted homes, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah,
Okay.
I still take a real pleasure in picking every one of our trees standing in the forest. So I know exactly what we're dealing with. We have very low cull rates because I get access to picking trees before they're felled, and allows me to determine exactly where they're to be bucked, and you know what, and I know ahead of time what size we can achieve in height per round gain in the walls. And it's some pretty interesting way of working with timber.
Sure. Let me ask you this: when you have what is the process with when you have someone that comes to you, Lloyd, and says, "Look, I want to build. Let's just use a genetic number, 2,000. I want to build a 2,000 square foot home." What are the things when you hear that? What do you already know in your mind what you're going to have to do as far as your construction project?
Well, first I want to find out what their concept is roughly like. So if they've seen anything in a magazine, if they've seen anything on a website, anything that really got their interest up, maybe it's on our website, maybe, who knows, it's a picture of a place they vacationed in, who knows what the thing is. So give a preliminary idea of what they are looking at. And then one of the things I like to get out of the way right away is budget. I mean, I think
Sure.
it's really important if someone has the right kind of concept of value for a handcrafted log homes, because they are not an inexpensive home. They're a more expensive home, and while you can certainly build very cost-effective handcrafted log homes, by keeping the design simple, if the design is really complex, the budget has to follow that.
Sure, and that's I hope people pay attention to that, because they will vary. They will vary in cost, and that with that vary comes looks. They'll all look different and so on.
Yeah, exactly.
What size? Let me ask you this: what size, when you're on most of your homes or your exterior walls, do you recommend certain log size or?
Well, we like to have at least a 16 to 18 inch average mid-length diameter log. So
Okay.
they're 24, maybe as high as 30 inches on the butt diameter. And then tops, we normally top them off around 14 inches to 15 inches. And so like the particular building here that I'm in is our office building, and that was a leftover set of tops off of our regular wall logs.
Right, okay.
And so we like the bigger size for several reasons. We work with a lot of large sawmills that have limits to how big they can feed logs into their mill. So long as I'm getting their oversized wood, they'll sell it to me. They won't sell me the size that they can get the maximum lumber out of, at least they don't want to sell me those logs. They're
Right.
happy to sell me the logs that are oversized.
Right.
And so that's usually somewhere around an 18-inch to 20-inch butt is where they have problems starting to fit them into the mill for maximum production.
Right. Now, are there certain types of trees that the lumber you're looking for as far as wood, whether it's cedar or fir or spruce, or what have you found?
Yeah. My main preference in drier climates is lodgepole pine. And we use spruce in the roof systems. And we'll use fir and cedar as well. But when we're using cedar, it tends to be more often in humid climates where there's other issues, where you've got humidity, decay, the wood is constantly getting wet. Then the advantages of cedar, I think, play an important part. The oldest log buildings in the world were built out of pine and spruce. I visited in Switzerland a log house that was built in 1286.
Wow.
And it was built out of spruce. And you know, the reason why it's lasted for over 700 years is because of roof overhangs. And,
oh yeah.
And they didn't have any preservatives. They didn't have anything. They didn't use any finishes on the exterior of any significance anyway. They may have painted it at different points and so on, but there weren't the stains and finishes that are available today. So the only thing that protected those buildings was roof overhangs. And if that can be incorporated into the design, you get a building that has very low maintenance. You have a building that often has covered decks and so on around it. And those things are really nice features. And when you combine that into a building that, you know, is using old growth timber, timber that should normally have burnt out in our forests,
Right.
but has been is available because we've been preventing forest fires for over 100 years in this area.
Right.
This, when you want to work with those trees and give them a chance to show off their beauty, it should be for another 500 or 1,000 years. And the best thing you can do is overhangs.
Well, you know, we insure log homes all over the lower 48. And,
right.
But you know, we're getting requests for Canada. We've been getting lots of requests to come up to I call it the upper, what is it? I think the upper 13 or upper 14 or whatever it is. They call us the lower 48. I'm gonna call y'all the upper 13. Well, anyway,
right on.
Huh?
Right on.
Yeah. So anyway, but of course I'm in Texas, so we'd rather be just the lower one.
Right.
But I think you are so right on target about those overhangs. I've got a porch all the way around my house, my log home, and it's got a overhang like a 8 foot, I think 8 on 3 sides, and I think 12 or 14 on the back. And of course I can go all the way around my house, but I can also tell you that those logs underneath there are like they were the day it was put together.
Exactly.
And so I think you're right on track with that overhang.
And I think if you put into your calculations of value, future maintenance and future upkeep, if you're calculating the cost of doing those extra overhangs at the time you're building and weigh it against the cost of future maintenance and resale value and so on, I think it's a win-win to put in those extra overhangs.
Right.
So often you're building vacation homes around a lake or something like that. Yeah. And if people are going there with the hesitation of how much work they have to do every summer in upkeep, I think that's a really valid point. Is what's the reason you want to build a log home?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Hey, Lloyd.
Yeah, anyway,
I know you've got an interesting story in there somewhere Tell me what's one of the most interesting things you've built or where you built it. That's always, people always like to hear that interesting story about, well, I built it on the side of a mountain overlooking a beautiful lake, but we had to, what's your interesting story just off the top of your head? You 43 years, that's a lot of good experience and a lot of good stories.
Yeah, we've built some buildings. One building a few years back in Haida Gwaii off the west coast of Canada, where the building had to be barged in, and we had to use some really basic lifting systems since we weren't able to get a crane in there.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, and then we've built on the side of a mountain where our tractor trailers had to get towed in with cats because the grade was so steep that it only had summer access. And we tore out drive lines and everything on our tractor. But we were able to get everything up there to that location and build there. And it's a location that is probably 5-6 miles from the nearest power line, so everything is off grid. And their view is phenomenal. They probably have 150 miles of mountains from the north end to the south end to look at.
Wow. Well, log homes are built where people want to live, not built in places where it's convenient to go down to the local food mart or market or whatever the case may be. And they're trying to get away from it. They're trying to get to a view in the stars. So you're exactly right. But that would be interesting. Where all do you build in Canada?
Well, we've built from Ontario west in the provinces. We've built in almost every corner of the US, Germany, and Japan. But really? lately we're only geared for Canada. I have a hesitancy on the amount of paperwork that's required to ship things overseas and over borders and stuff. So I prefer to be involved in the projects and not spend all my time behind a desk. And so I've made the choice after the number of years I've been doing this that the projects that require that endless amount of paperwork, I tend to avoid.
Oh, I understand that, especially these days. And
it's not getting less.
Well, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But is there a certain style home that you like to see people let's say the average log home, handcrafted log home, is there a certain style that you see that people are requesting these days, or they get on the inside, and of course there's never telling what's going to happen in there. People get pretty crazy on the inside.
Yeah. I think we do a fair number of buildings that are either a ranch style bungalow, often with wraparound decks, to the more mountain feel where you have the steeper pitched roofs and the vaulted ceilings and lofts and so on. And I would say those are the two categories we've consistently been building buildings in. And the sizes have been everything. I think the biggest one that I've ever been involved in was 27,000 square feet. Was like the size of a shopping mall. 27,000 square feet. It was the size of a shopping mall, but it was a residence for a Swiss banker. And
somebody's got to live in that house.
That's right. And it's the staff.
Yeah.
He's not there that often.
27,000. How long did that take?
It was about a 5-year project.
Wow.
Yeah. We built a large place for Mitt Romney in Utah.
Okay.
And we've built for a number of homes in the 10 to 15,000 square foot range. And I would say the average overall of the years I've been building is probably around 5,000, but now it's more in the 2,000 to 3,000.
Right. Now ours is 4,000 under roof, and I'm feeling like I didn't give my wife enough house. I mean, it's I feel like I shorted her.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let her listen to this video either.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm of the feeling that you should be realistic in what you need. And just because you can afford more doesn't necessarily mean you need to build that much more.
Well,
but hey, I'm very happy to supply that to someone who wants it and can afford it.
There you go. There you go. All right, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes here.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to add or tell us about you or
well, you know,
I've been about your homes that you'd like us to know? Hey, let me ask you a question real quick. One last question for me, and then you can talk about that. I was looking at your website, and I'm going to encourage people to go to it's Moose Lodge or Moose Mountain Log Homes, and look at that home in the front. That first picture that comes up.
Yeah.
Where is that at?
That's in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Wow.
With the Tetons in the background.
Wow. That looks great.
Looks
great.
That's the third building we built for that family.
Really?
And each time they kind of stepped up and in the size of home they wanted and so on.
Wow. Well, that's.
But I think one of the things I'd like to mention is that I've been with the ILBA since 1979, and you know, I think it's really underrated the importance of the ILBA and how much it's helped the industry. There's a lot of people who've ridden on the coattails of the ILBA, have benefited from the work that the ILBA has done, but haven't actually even joined the ILBA. And I really think there's an opportunity for people to learn much more about the industry, improve their skills, improve their understanding of wood by being a part of the association. And that can't be a bad thing.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, and I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And you know, the young people coming up in the industry can learn a lot from those of us that are older, just because we've already made some of the mistakes they're going to make. They can skip some of them if they'll just pay attention to us. But
right.
You know, your phone number is right there, and I bet you if they called and said I'm an IBL member, you'd be willing to talk to them a little bit, and hopefully, you know, like I said, you've got your experience is so valuable to people that you don't realize what you've got there. But I mean, you probably do. But ILBA is very fortunate to have you as a member. And anyway, so give us your website, your location, best times to call. If there's someone other than yourself they need to talk to, give us some information to get in touch with you.
Sure. Well, it's Moose Mountain Log Homes, and it's www.moosemountain.com is our website address. And phone number is 403-932-3992. And we're on mountain time, so 8 to 5 is, you know, weekdays is what we're in the office. And in the office is either myself or my wife Linda Bordage. And, you know, we've used salespeople in the past, and sometimes you can't build what people can sell. And,
there you go.
And so I don't want to ever provide any information that isn't correct for the people who are wanting to buy. And on the other side, if there are builders, and you know, I have talked with builders in German or English or even a little bit of Spanish all over the world, and I am always eager to help anyone who's interested in building a better place based on what my experiences are.
Well, I guess we've come to the end of this little segment. I guess you realize you'll be on the ILBA site there for all to see, and I got to tell you, I'd never met this man before, but he's very interesting, and he's one of those guys you're talking to, you just believe him. And so I encourage anybody watching this video, take 5 minutes and call this man or email him, and I'll bet you he'll get back to you. And we appreciate you, Lloyd. Your work with ILBA and the work you're doing in the log home industry is really appreciated. And don't forget to take your dog out for a walk later. Uh,
Thank you very much, Fred. And I really appreciate what you're doing for the association. It's very important.
Oh, I think it is. All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.